You ever notice how many candles are in a church? There are a lot of candles out there. And I mean, it's not just like on holidays and stuff like that. Like obviously, they're everywhere during Christmas and Easter and everything. I just mean in general. There are candles everywhere throughout church. In fact, candles are lots of different places. We just see them there a lot. I mean, there's the practical point of view of it where no matter what technology offered, this always gives light. This always gives heat. So no matter what happens, you can always count on this. So sure, there was this even ancient minded culture where we always needed fire to be able to see. But then we also had that metaphoric part. In other words, we always compare light to things that really matter, like the light of wisdom or the light of exploration. We even call Jesus the light of the world because what light can do is fight the darkness. What light can do is help show us the way. And that is the amazing part of Easter. Easter is starting over again and seeing that way laid out to us, understanding what it is that we're supposed to do. But light is also frequently compared to faith. The faith that we have that we're doing the right thing, and faith in God that He's there with us and that what He's saying is the right thing to do. Faith is hard. Faith is always being fought at with things like, not having proof and not knowing to be able to, like, are you sure? Like, faith is hard because earning it's just hard to maintain. So today's gospel, this is where the disciples kind of are. The disciples at this point have seen Jesus crucified. Their faith, it's almost like this candle. The light is really small. There's not a lot of energy left. They're starting to lose that hope because something so awful just happened. This is one of the coolest things I think about Jesus as a person. Jesus goes through the resurrection. He comes back. And one of the first things he thinks to do is not reveal himself to the world or reveal himself to the synagogues and to the rulers or any of these people. The first thing that starts to go through Jesus's mind when he returns is, I wonder how my friends are. That's Jesus in a nutshell. That's why Jesus is the absolute best friend you can have. Because every single time, no matter what happens, no matter what turmoil Jesus has been through, the first thought he's going to have is us. He knew his disciples were in pain. He knew that their faith, like this light, was now so small. And, everything about it, it's almost like Jesus sneaks out, like the prophecies and all these other things about our Lord being risen from the dead. All of those things were about that he was going to be risen. It wasn't, nobody had a particular schedule in mind. Like, whoa, maybe Jesus is going to go here and there and there. Like they didn't have a planner. So it's almost like Jesus sort of sneaks out. Like think of the tomb, kind of just snuck out. And instead of like ascending into heaven to rejoin all the hosts, you know what he does? He goes to visit his friends. That's this gospel. Jesus being the best friend ever. He sees these people in turmoil. He sees these people in pain. And he's like, you know what? We can make this right. Let me prove to you that we can move on, that I'm really here for you forever. And let's take this light and do something that you can do with fire. Let it spread. So the disciples look at Jesus proving himself to them. It hits them what an incredible moment this was. And to some, I have to believe that they actually started to think, wow, he actually stopped by just to light this fire within us again. And the light of their candles start to grow and grow. And the really cool thing is that this light, it spreads. And that's Jesus's new message. The whole idea of what his message is. Take kindness, take forgiveness, take everything that is the hardest thing to do, which is to care about someone else when they've given you no reason to do so. Take everything I've shown you how to do, bring this light to someone else. And so begins everything about our church, the spreading of this light to every single place we can go. That's what we can do. That's our job. In fact, it's funny. Some of you got a candle that looks just like this. It's their baptismal candle. It's a really, really common tradition. In fact, lots of people every single birthday relight their baptismal candle because they know that on that day, that was their Easter. Your baptism is the day that you got to be born again. And that light on that candle, well, that signifies your light. That signifies your faith. The decisions we have to make now is that if this candle is like our faith, how strong is our candle? Is it intense and strong, and no matter what happens, it can weather any storm? We will always remember that no matter what happens to us, Jesus is always with us to light our path. His teachings will always light our way. Or when the wind comes and the storms start to blow, is your faith like a candle so small that when the wind does come, it can't take it? Let the Lord, his message, his model, everything that he showed us, be the light that we can give to someone else so that their light can grow as well. Don't let this light go out with one wind.